When I got here, I saw the benefits and the rewards people were receiving for their change.
Helps us a lot to actually have time to where we can actually sit down and talk to each other.
And I guess it was God giving me a second chance.
When the state of Missouri decided it needed to change its approach to dealing with juvenile delinquents, it had to find an alternative to the old ways. Housing hundreds of young boys and hundreds of young girls in large training schools operated much like prisons.
What we were doing was releasing young people who were more aggressive, less prepared, and more hopeless. And when you release young people back into the community in that condition, there's a great likelihood that they're going to reoffend.
Boonville and Chillicothe were two infamous training schools with reputations for being dangerous, having substandard educational opportunities, a lack of adequate rehabilitative programs, housing young people in deteriorating buildings, and were understaffed.
They do a pretty rotten job in terms of their impact on public safety. So their recidivism rates are generally horribly high. Second thing is that these are places with fairly chronic histories of scandal and abuse. The evidence is so overwhelming as to raise the question of whether, in fact, we know how to run safe, humane, much less rehabilitative institutions of this scale for children who've committed delinquent acts and who present the kind of behavioral challenges that those youth present.
It starts, in my mind, with this notion that kids have to be punished and they have to be treated in a coercive, sort of hardware manner to bring about a result and or change. Everything we know that we learn from the adult system says that doesn't work. It doesn't work with adults, and it's bound not to work with children.
The Missouri model's solution was to replace harsh environments with humane surroundings, to keep the young people close to their hometowns and families, and to have them live and study together. The emphasis shifted from warehousing youngsters to empowering them with new social and educational skills. Phased in over a number of years, there are now 32 of these small facilities located around Missouri in modern, updated buildings, some even in parks, others on college campuses. The centers contain more than classrooms. The small group concept continues with open dorm areas and group activities. The young people become part of teams that do everything together.
All Missouri youth, regardless of the size of the program, are in a small treatment group of no more than 10 or 12 other young people. This really creates an environment where we can not only create physical safety, but also emotional safety for the youth.
The group, under the watchful eyes of counselors 24 hours a day, creates a support system in which each person processes feelings, emotions, and concerns.
Like yesterday, I was telling her that I think she should figure out what her relationship is with her dad.
Whenever we're on the phone, we have nothing to talk about because we spend no time together.
I used to be like that with my dad.
Yeah, maybe you should write stuff down in like a notebook or whatever, what to talk to your dad every week, and like base it on what you're doing in here, like about the Olympics, maybe write down.
Many of them have committed serious crime and caused serious harms to people. I don't want to ignore that fact. I also want to balance that with they are children, and I believe sometimes that we forget that they're kids in need.
There are regular daily therapy sessions in designated areas. Impromptu gatherings can happen anytime.
Missouri implements what we call a circle up process, where at any time during the day that there's something going on, anyone in the group, young person or staff, can call group call or circle up, and everyone stops everything that they're doing and they come to a circle.
I called the circle to check in on Cameron. You're looking kind of down, man. I just wanted to see how you're doing.
I'm struggling right now because I'm about to go home. Feel lost right now.
While the circle-ups happen spontaneously, regularly scheduled therapy sessions take place every day in a designated room where inner thoughts are shared. On this evening, the subject is how people change.
So why do you think people change then?
If you change now, don't change later, because it might not even be a later. You might
Like if you so caught up into the streets, and then you might end up getting killed or something. So we all been arrested and stuff like that. And jail stuff. It's all changed our life because the stuff we were doing out there, we can't do it no more because we ain't here.
I called my mom one time. They said they was watching the news. My face came up on the news, you know, talking about my case. And she said she just started crying. And she couldn't stop crying. Like, that's what really motivated me. That's what really hit home for me.
For some people, change gets forced on them. You have a kid, like an unplanned kid, change is forced on you.
Like if you're so used to doing negative things, and then you try to go do something positive, it's gonna be a big step because you're gonna be so used to doing those negative things. It's gonna be like a daily habit. It's gonna be hard to break.
And personally for me, I feel change is rewarding because I'm making positive changes. So all the changes I make are rewarding. You know, I also said it's scary though, because sometimes change is scary, you know. Maybe, you know, for a bunch of different reasons. You know.
The other thing that the group process does is it allows you to create a safe environment where young people can work really on the root causes of their behavioral problems. There are many things that bring young people to us. There's many feelings. Often our youth come from a trauma background, they come from difficult family and community histories, and they need a chance to talk through those issues if they're going to heal and if they're going to learn different ways of interacting with the world.
Family issues are also at the forefront when teams at the Watkins Mills Center gather for Victims' Rights Week. They talk about people who've been hurt by their actions and words. It begins with a chance to add a brick to the wall called Building Accountability.
It made me think a whole lot about the people that really care about me and how much pain I put them through and I do the things that I do.
It makes me think about how much stress I put my victims through and who all it affects.
It's just making me think you don't just have that one victim. You affect a whole bunch of people. It's like one big web.
As they write a victim's name and their name on the wall, it triggers memories and emotions that require processing in a group therapy session.
Processing is sharing what happened, sharing how it impacted you, sharing your feelings about what happened, and any sort of issues that it kicked up. It's hard to look inside yourself and really see, you know, what I've done and acknowledge that and take responsibility for that.
I'm disappointed in myself because I've victimized so many people and I haven't noticed. It's made me think about all the things that I could have done and should have done that I didn't do.
I'm seeing a totally different Miranda than I saw last week. Can you tell me what started that change?
I guess because I'm really starting to take a look at how I treat people.
I like the change that I'm seeing. And I hope you can continue to make those changes and remember that whatever you do and whatever you say affects others.
Maybe for the first time in their life, someone is pointing out to them some of the things they've not known about themselves. So having a real good look inside themselves too helps the kids really understand where they came from and what then they can accomplish and do by correcting in some of the deficiencies or some of the things where they've gone wrong in life.
Young people often reveal their feelings and problems in their artwork, and depictions of the past are displayed on the walls. The Missouri model focuses on getting young people like Tyrese to focus on the root causes of behavioral problems and to chart them graphically.
What got me in here was money problems. Trying to get the money the fast way was the easiest way to get it. I didn't have much empathy and wasn't thinking about nobody else but myself.
They go through a self-discovery phase where they begin to really delve into their past and they begin to understand what drives their decisions.
My dad was incarcerated for 15 years.
When Tyrese started getting into crimes and trouble, I was unaware of it. I was a convicted felon for manufacturing, distributing, and delivering of a controlled substance. And I was not around for Tyrese.
So you get kids to see their family patterns, you know, and that helps because then you can say, hey, can you be accountable for your actions and break the cycle?
I guess it was God giving me a second chance to start my life over and change, because I could have been doing 5 to 10 years in the prison.
From the time of incarceration until the time of release, a service coordinator like Lee Bortka is assigned to manage each young person's case. On this day, Lee and community mentor Danica Singleton meet with Janice at Watkins Mill to help Janice start planning for life after high school.
Give me an example of something that does apply to you that you want to make sure you include in your relapse prevention plan that will be important for you.
When I finished I was rewriting my separation piece with Whitney over.
I love that you are going to individualize it to you that works for you, because that's what's important. It's not just doing the work to get out. It's doing the work that's going to help you to be able to take with you to carry over. Now that you've been gone for a while, it's good for you to go back.
Because, like, I know my mom's, like, really busy, and, like, that was, like, not getting the attention that I needed or wanted from her. So, like, I know that'll be, like, a big problem for me, so I know I need to have that in there.
From Watkins Mill, Lee and Danica are returning to Kansas City with another youth whose case Lee has been managing.
What are some of your interests? What are the things you want to do?
Like music, like football.
Ronell is about to move from a residential center to a day treatment environment. There he will attend classes during the day, but go back home to live with his family at night.
Now it's time to apply everything that you have learned.
The manager of the Alternative Resource Center, or ARC, Thomas Jeffries, wants Ronell to share his concerns with the staff.
I just don't know how the group's gonna be reacting to when I'm gonna be there, how they're acting right now. I don't wanna go into it like when they have a bad vibe or anything.
That's gonna take some time, but I'm very confident that you can do that, and we're gonna be with you step by step, hand in hand.
Not all the activities involve soul-searching, but some of the other team-building experiences can be just as emotional and instructive.
It's amazing how they can take a direct experience of being on a volleyball team and then to give them the opportunity to get out and to be encouraged and appreciated for effort and not just outcome. It makes kids feel good inside. The better they feel inside, the more connected they become with each other. The staff that work with them, they unconditionally accept these kids. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to be the smartest. All you have to do is be.
Although these young people have committed serious offenses and have been locked up, they are not surrounded by uniformed guards with handcuffs and restraints. Security is by structure.
If an institution relies solely on the locks of the doors, they've lost the battle already. It's creating the desire to want to not necessarily be there, but to be better, to change, to create a better life. And that's the thing that Missouri staff taps into in the children.
We really just have a fundamentally different approach to creating a safe environment. So instead of all of that you see in a typical correctional environment, we use day-to-day structure, a rigorous daily schedule that the youth are involved in. They have very little free time, except free time that's planned for a deliberate reason. The involvement and engagement of staff, eyes on, ears on, hearts on supervision. So our young people are never alone without adult supervision in the program. There's always someone that's there with them, watching them, listening to them, paying attention to what's going on, and actually facilitating the groups.
On your mark, get set, go.
How we implement education is also critical. I call it the one-room therapeutic schoolhouse. Because if you were to observe a DYS educational program, what you would see is 10 to 12 young people who are together 24/7 in all of their activities. So that group culture is there, that group process is there to support the young people in their learning process as well.
And it fills them with pride that they're starting to be back in the normal race of things, that I'm one of those good kids who's making grades. I mean, they come in here, and by no means is it easy in here. I mean, they're covering a lot of ground. They're working on deep-seated issues, and they're getting a full-fledged education in here, and they're making A's and B's.
I started off mine with a question. It's born to lose, born to win. Why is it that our young people, such as myself, are born to win but end up losing mentally?
You would see a certified teacher along with a youth specialist, working hand in hand to implement the young people's education as well as their social skills development that they're going to need to alleviate the traditional barriers to their education that have occurred.
But once they start making those A's and B's, then they self-motivate to continue that task. And when they get out, then they can return to school and they can finally achieve those dreams that they thought wasn't even possible or that they weren't worthy of.
I guess hopefully after I get out of college and all that, I'm going to start my own business, start working under somebody for a while until I get on my feet and learning.
138 minus 29.
So you would also see young people helping each other.
And been more like it.
You would see very much what used to go on probably in the one-room schoolhouses, only with a lot more support and with a lot more kind of deliberate attention to the whole child.
So with us, we deal with the emotional reasons on why they're struggling in school. And if we give them a safe environment, then that'll help them focus more on school. So hopefully when they leave us, they can leave with something measurable, either GED, high school diploma, something that they've accomplished.
Okay, listen up. Listen up.
William Smith has devoted many years to helping young people.
Listen up. Okay, Darius, you're up.
First as a teacher and a court officer,
This is where we sleep at.
then as a member of the Missouri Division of Youth Services Advisory Board. He travels across the state to visit treatment facilities and meet with DYS staff.
Their only interest is in serving the young people.
Smith and the other 14 board members have become key partners in Missouri's juvenile justice revolution.
The advisory board works very closely with members of the Missouri State Legislature, and we try to keep them abreast of what's going on with the children, troubled children in our state, and how best we can serve them.
For years, they've been taking their feedback from DYS to the state capitol in Jefferson City. The advisory board members meet with legislators and executive branch officials to remind them of how Missouri's at-risk youth depend on these programs.
We help keep the funding going. They tell us the things they need and we ask for it, and then we do a lot of thanking in the process also.
Essential support has come from former prosecutors and judges who recognize the importance of rehabilitation for young people.
It's not a Republican ideology or a Democrat ideology or a conservative or a liberal position. It's a position that's the best position for society and for the kids. It maintains the best balance of protecting society from kids who commit crimes and the need that society has to rehabilitate those kids so that they don't reoffend and their criminal activity is compounded as an adult.
It's a philosophical choice as to whether we as a society want to devote more and more of our resources to building prisons, or do we want to devote more resources to education, treatment services, psychological services, medical services, those types of things that bring healing to a community and hold out the hope of the salvaging of human potential.
Advisory board members take a personal interest in the accomplishments of young people in DYS and often attend graduation ceremonies.
The Missouri model is based on a different notion. It's based on the notion that a punishment comes when the court commits you. Once you get to that facility, the issue is not punishing you. The issue is helping you get better, helping you be smarter, helping you be stronger as an individual. That's a huge shift.
The numbers tell the success of the one-room schoolhouse approach in Missouri. In 1989, 25 young people received either a GED or high school diploma from the division. In 2009, 385 students earned their GED or high school diploma.
I'm here today because of a lot of people's time and dedication into my life.
On May 7, 2009, I was committed to the Division of Youth Service. I was at the point in my life where I was feeding into negative behaviors of peers and not listening to my mom.
We will never know the young person as well as their parents do, and we will never be as impactful on their life as their parents and as their community are.
They approach families as their ally, as a strength, and try to find a strong place in the family.
The person that I owe the most thanks to is my mom. because she is the reason I'm here today.
I never thought I would hear the words, "I want to go to college," come out of his mouth, which is a total surprise.
Being here and watching my son walk across that stage, it was wonderful. It was a great feeling inside. It truly was. Because I didn't know which way to turn, and I was like, I just need help. You know, I can teach him some things, but I can't teach him how to become a man.
DYS basically made me who I am today. A successful young African American who's a somebody now and has respect for others and also has respect for himself and cares about other people.
The Missouri model has given these young people a better chance to break the cycle of recidivism than they would get from other juvenile systems. 3 years after being discharged from the DYS, 2/3 of the young people have remained law-abiding. No recommitment, no adult probation, no adult incarceration. After that same 3 years from discharge, 92% of the young people have avoided further incarceration.